This is class 12th computer science 2021 sample question paper theory we are discussing, and this is released by CBSE. There are two parts, part A and part B. Part A has two sections, part B is descriptive and it has three sections. So all this is in Python. So wherever we are discussing, wherever I'll discuss about the marking scheme. So part A, section 1, and we have to attempt 15 questions from 1 to 21. Find the invalid identifier from the following. Now if you see this my name, no problem with this, absolutely no problem with underscore also. The problem is with true. True is a reserved word. We cannot use it. For example, false, we cannot use it. It's already reserved. So Python uses it. So we cannot use it as identifier. Similarly, the identifier cannot start with a number. So this is also wrong. So number can be inside, it cannot start with a number. In your answers of these, CBSE has provided this, only B is the correct answer they have given, but it is not the case. B and C both are invalid. B and C both are invalid. Now given the list L, write the output of print L2:5. So what does it mean? First of all, we have to give the index. Always give the index. Square bracket is showing that it is a list. So always give this indexes. So start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are indices. And then start with 2. This is 2, so 6 will come. Then what will come? And how many numbers will come? 2 and 5. If you are confused about it will go up to 5 or not, the best thing is you subtract 5 and 2. So that is higher end limit. 5 minus 2 is what? 3. So just give the 3 numbers. 6, then you have 82, then you have this 5. And since the output will also be a list, 6, 82, 5 will also be a list. So it will be given in what? It will be in square bracket. This is very important. You have to give it in square bracket. Okay. Write the full form of CSV. This is comma separated values. Comma separated values. Now what is this? The values which are separated by comma. CSV. For example, your name is A, say age is 23, say you are female, and you can have B as the other person, 21, and M. So this is comma separated. This is comma separated. Now identify the valid arithmetic operator in Python from the following. Now you will see all these are valid. The first thing it comes into your mind is this one. But if you see the question carefully, it's arithmetic operator. Only this star will come. Because if you see this angle is a relational operator, and A and D is a logical operator. So only this star is an arithmetic operator. Now what is this star? This is basically exponential. If I write 2 star 3, what does it mean? 2 raised to the power 3, which is eventually h. Suppose a tuple T is declared as T 10, 12, 43, 39. Now this is a tuple. Round bracket it is. Now which of the following is incorrect? So tuple T. So we are talking about a record here, and we have to tell which one is incorrect. For example, you have A, 23F. So this is your record. Basically, tuple is record only. Information which is common is for a single multiple information. So print T1. So if I give the index, 12 will be printed. What about print max T? 39 is maximum, so 39 will be printed. Length, how many numbers are there? 4. So 4 will be printed. What about this T2 equals 29? If you type this and run this program, this content, you will see there will be an error. Why this is error? Because this is immutable. Immutable. Why immutable? Because a tuple is immutable. You cannot change it. Write a statement in Python to declare a dictionary whose keys are 1, 2, 3 and values are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and respectively. So dictionary you have to make, but the name is not given. So you can buy yourself. It's your choice. You can take any name. So J and make equality sign. Then you start with a brace and with a brace. This is a key value pair. So 1 corresponds to Monday. This is 1 colon. and this one column single quotes Monday. M has to be capital. Same thing you have to write which is given in the question. Then you have to have a comma coming to Tuesday. So 2. This is 2 colon, and then you have Tuesday single, again capital T you have to use. This is Tuesday in comma 3 colon this Wednesday. This is Wednesday. So the way it is written, you have to write that way only. Don't change it. Right? And now once these key pair values are being done, all these are capitals. Then you end with a brace or a curly bracket. A tuple is declared as T25698. What will be the value of sum T? Sum will be summation of all the values which are inside. So 25698, you just have to add them. 2 plus 5 is 7, 7 plus 6 is 13, 13 plus 9 is 22, 22 plus 8 is 30. Answer is 30. Name the built-in mathematical function method that is used to return an absolute value of a number. So if you are aware of C, C++, Java or any other language, this ABS is a common. It will be found in math library. ABS in Python is again doing this absolute form. If you put -2, you will get 2. If you even put 2, you will get 2 only. So negative will be made into positive. Right? So this is ABS and on bracket this is going to be the answer. Name the protocol that is used to send emails. Protocol that is used to send emails. So we have SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. This is for sending mail. Let me tell you a bit more about this. This is your mail server. It can be a Google, Gmail, it may be Yahoo. So this is your setting. Your name is Sam. You are writing a mail and you are sending it. So when you are sending it, the zimmedari or the responsibility of SMTP is to push this email to the mail server. Now you send it to the Peter, your friend. Now how Peter is going to get? There is a POP protocol, which is post office protocol. It is pulling this email from the mail server to his smartphone or his computer. SMTP pushes, pop, pull. Your friend Ranjana complains that somebody has created a fake profile on Facebook and defaming her character with abusive comments and pictures. Identify the type of cybercrime for these situations. Now, this is a very grim situation. A girl. Now, somebody may have some grudge against you. Now, people misuse it, especially against women. They will take their photographs, they will write their number, they will write their, do some bad pictures they will attach or morph. They want to defame the girl for whatever reason. Now, this is, first of all, you, me and anyone. This is a crime, a big crime. You shouldn't do it. You don't even think of doing, because you have IP number and this can be tracked and you will land up in jail. Bezati hogi alag. So better don't do it. Cyber stalking is the answer. This is a classic example of cyber stalking. In SQL, name the clause that is used to display the tuples in ascending order of an attribute. Ascending and descending. Ascending means from small to big. From big to small is descending. Now let me give you an example. If you have, there is a big database, you have multiple tables. So one column is say age, and you have certain age, for example 21, and you have another age as 20, then you have 31. Now whenever you write a query and you do something, select star from this table, you have certain condition, and then after that you give order by age, order by age order by DESC age. So order by means now the records will come, but will come in the way of ascending order of age. That is, after 21 also there will be some content. I'm not showing you that content. I'm just trying to tell you that first 20, 21, 31, this way the records will come. This way the columns will be, with the rows will be coming. Rows are records only. If you want to make it DESC, descending, you have to use DESC. Ascending is always by default, so you don't have to write it. In SQL, what is the use of is null operator? Is null operator. Again, let me give an example. Now you are feeding the table. That is, you are entering the values in the table. You are A, you are a male. Your number is say 234. It's a unique number. Assume it to be a mobile number or your home number or your hostel number. B female, and then the number is 563. Now another person is also there, say C, and she is a female and she has no number. She has no mobile number, for example. Now you have to write null because there is no information here. So when you want to check in your query that whether the one of the cell or one of the content is null or not, then we use is null operator. Is null to check if the column has null value or no value. It can be NULL, that is, it has a value which is null, but it can also have that no value is there. Write any one aggregate function used in SQL. So I'm going to tell you all the aggregate function. You can pick any of these and write. We have sum. It will take the content, all the numbers, and sum it and give the result. Then average, AVG. It will take the numbers, add them, divide by the number of numbers, and it will give you the average. Count will give you how many numbers are there. Max will give you the largest number in the list of the number. The minimum will give you the minimum number. Now, which of the following is DDL command? Is a DDL command. There are two types of command, DDL and DML. DDL command is basically dealing with the database structure, the original database, the table or tables like this. The DML is only for manipulating, changing the inside content of the table, not the table structure. So you just select the query, that means select the content. Insert, if you have certain thing, you can enter. I just gave an example that there was something called null. So you insert it, or you have inserted, you can insert a row, or you can update the number for mobile number. But alter is a command which is a DDL command. This you are actually changing the structure of the database or the table. Name the transmission media best suitable for connecting to hilly areas. Now in hilly areas, what do? Hilly area means mountainous region, undulated terrain. So this kind of area, if you have a mobile tower here, it's quite obvious that the other part of the mountain won't get the connection or the network. Okay, and mostly other things like broadcasting, telecasting will not be so powerful. Now in this kind of scenario, the best is microwave. The best is to use microwave, or you can use radio waves. Now the question will be, what are these? These are nothing but electromagnetic waves. They both are electromagnetic waves. Only the difference is frequency and the amplitude. Now the wavelength. So the wavelength of radio wave is quite high. If you are here and the radio station, even if it is kilometers, you can still hear the radio. This is basically the frequency. Identify the valid declaration of L. Now these are square brackets, so it's clear that it's list. Okay, don't worry about dictionary, don't worry about string, because you can see it looks like string, like a tuple also, but square bracket list. Just D is the correct answer of question number 16 of your sample question paper. If the following code is executed, what will be the output of the following code? What is the output? Now name is computer science with Python. Now you want to print it, print the name 3:10. Now this is a square bracket. So what do you get? You have to start with 3 and at 9, because 10 minus 3 is 7. So only 7 characters. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It's enough from till 10. You have to start from 3, so P. And how many? 7. Just count 7 and write it. P-U-T-E-R, and then you have S and C. Just count it. There has to be 7. This I won't come. 10th will not come. Only 3 till 9. Because always the indices start with 0. Please remember, the indices start from 0, not from 1. That is why we don't include the 10th one. This is Pewter SC. In SQL, write the query to display the list of tables stored in a database. So we are talking about a whole database, and we want to know how many tables are there, the name of the tables. So the best thing is, or the command here is very simple. Show tables. Database is what? It consists of multiple tables. You can have one table, it can have multiple tables. So what do? Show tables. This is the command you have to use. Show tables. write the expanded form of Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is standing for wireless fidelity. Wireless fidelity, right? Expanded form of Wi-Fi is wireless fidelity. Now coming to which of the following types of table constraints will prevent the entry of duplicate rows? This unique, distinct, null, all are incorrect. Primary key is correct. Why? Because you want to prevent the entry of duplicate rows when you are doing the DDL. And when you are doing DDL, data definition language, at that time when you create a table, you give a primary key. When you give a primary key, that will ensure that there will be no two rows of common content. Rearrange the following terms in increasing order of data transfer rates. If you see, wherever the data is going, it will only go, even it is wireless or through wire, it will go in 10 form, in bit. So byte per second is there also and bit per second is there. So kilobit per second, it's all bit per second, not byte per second. Or it's byte per second. Gigabyte per second or gigabit per second. Okay. So when you say BPS, bit per second, what does it mean? You are talking about 1000 BPS. And when we have 1000 BPS, it will become 1000 kbps. That is, if I add 1000 in front of one and any of these, it will go to the next one. So bit per second, kilobit per second, megabit per second, and gigabit per second. Okay. So this is finally terabits per second, right? So it's gigabyte per second. We are discussing about section 2 of sample question paper 2021 released by CBSE. This is computer application. Next is a departmental store, MyStore, is considering to maintain their inventory using SQL to store the data. SQL is structured query language, and in this we have DDL as well as DML. DDL, data definition language, we can create the data, that is the structure of data, and this DML for manipulation. Now we have a database administrator DBA. Abhay has decided that name of the database will be MyStore. Name of the table will be store. A database can have multiple tables. The attribute of store are: a table is nothing but a spreadsheet or a rectangle or a square with columns and rows. So it's a table, rows and column. A table is nothing but rows and column. Okay. So these rows and column, in this, the column are the attributes. One row is a record. This is all the rows you see here. They are a record. That is, they are common to, they are representing one thing. And these are columns. These are 4 columns having different properties. So the question here is, please prepare, because this type of question are going to come. Identify the attribute best suitable to be declared as a primary key. First of all, attribute is what? And how can attribute be primary key? So primary key means what? Primary key is nothing but a column. Attribute is also a column. Column, primary key, attribute, all are same thing. And primary key is that column that will uniquely identify a record. That is, if you take this S code, if I say, if I take S code as a primary key, you see 21 is there, 21 is there. So this is repeated. So you cannot have a primary key as S code because it's not unique. If I give you one more example, this quantity, if I make this 50 as 150. So now we have two 150. So now quantity I cannot make it as a primary key because this is 150, this is also 150. It cannot uniquely identify a record. Okay, if I query 150, 2 records will come. And here also item name, the name is different, but still we generally take numbers as the primary key, unique numbers. So item number, if you see, there is nothing common. So item number is, if you take 2001, only 1 record will come. If you take 2005, only 1 record will come. 2005 will not give you 2 records or 2 rows of this table. Okay. So this is primary key. Primary key, that is, it can uniquely identify each and every record of a database. So attribute is a column, column is an attribute. That column which we choose for primary key is what we are talking about. Write the degree and cardinality of the table store. Now in a layman understanding, degree, because as I said, table is what? Row and column. So degree is number of column. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 columns are there. So degree is number of columns. And cardinality means number of rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 is the cardinality. Number of records are 7. Okay, we don't take the upper one, that is the heading. Please remember, heading we don't take. We just talk about record. Degree is number of column. Cardinality is number of rows or number of records in this table. Item number, item name, these are not record. These are just the heading name. Insert the following data into the attribute item number, item name and S code respectively in the given table store. So now this question seems to be straightforward, but there is a glitch because we have 4 columns and the question is asking trick by trick that you have to enter only 3. That is, item number you have to enter, item name you have to enter, S code you have to enter, but what about quantity? The quantity is not given. So now, if you want to enter one row, what do we do? Please see this answer. I'm just writing the first letter. Insert into, we write the table name, and then we say insert into table values, and we give 4 values. This is the normal way of inserting the values in one record, because one record will have 4 content, 4 cells, because 4 columns are there. But this is not they are asking. They are asking 3 records. You have 3 things you have to enter. So we'll write insert into store. Then you have to specify the column name, item number, and then you have to write values. So item number, the value will be 2010. For item name, the value will be notebook, and for S code, the value will be entered will be 25. Okay. So normally we generally just write insert into table name, values, and we in the round bracket we just give the value. Here we don't have to do this. We have to specify the column name and the values. Now I want to remove the table store from the database MyStore. Which command will he use from the following? Okay, for that it's very straightforward, drop table. So he has a database as we saw in the question only, MyStore. So assume that there are multiple tables in a database. So he wants to delete this. So we don't delete. There is no delete. Here drop table. Drop table store. Drop table store is the answer. Drop. Okay. There is no delete. Or drop database MyStore is not asked. Only table has to be dropped. So drop table store is the answer. Now Abhay wants to display the structure of the table store, that is name of the attribute and their respective data types that he has used in the table. Write the query to display the same. So now the answer is describe store. So the structure of the table store, that is the name of the columns, what are the type of content it will contain. So DESC or describe, both are okay. Either you use describe or you use DESC. So the question is asking the structure of the store. So whole table will not be shown. That is the column attributes, name of the columns basically. These are item number, item name, S code and quantity will come. And the data type, that is only the column name and the data type of these columns. That is, this first column only contains numbers, so it will be numeric. Second column is having alphanumeric because it has number also and alphabet also. Third and fourth both are numeric. So the column name and the type it can contain will be shown. Ranjan Kumar of class 12 is writing a program to create a CSV file user.csv. So Ranjan Kumar is writing a program to create a CSV file that will be called as user.csv. This CSV is comma separated value. CSV file is comma separated value. So this is how it will be seen. Comma separated. I wrote it, but all the content will be separated by a comma. That is why it is called comma separated value, which will contain username and password for some entries. So username and password will be there. He has written the following code. As a programmer, help him to successfully execute the given task. So he has written, Ranjan has written the program. Now there are certain things you have to add here or you have to help him. So first thing is, let us start with the question first. name the module he should import in line 1. So let me tell you the answer first. This is CSV. So he wants to work with CSV. So in Python, we have to import the module as per our requirement. If we want to deal with binary, we will add pickle. Okay. So here import, we have to write CSV. CSV in small case, only CSV you have to write, nothing else. Don't write import CSV, only CSV in small case. So this is the line 1, CSV. Then we have the other one. The second part is in which mode Ranjan should open the file to add data into the file. Now he wants to open the file because he wants to add. Please remember, it's add always. Now what will happen? First he is importing, then there is a definition, and this is to write and add data into the CSV file, which is add CSV file function. Username, password will be entered into the file. He wants to open this file. Now if he read mode, if he open it in read mode, he will only be reading it, not writing. If he opens it in write mode, the earlier content will be removed, because this program will be running number of times. So whatever thing we have already entered, it should not be removed, because W will always create a new file. So we will append, we will open it with append. So content is already there, now we are appending. So the next content, next username, password will come after that. Next is fill in the blank in line 3 to read the data from the CSV file. Okay, line 3. So now simple is, this we have already seen. Open the file, and now new file writer, and we are writing the row, username and password. So this file will be containing this content, which is called by this function add CSV file. Now hash CSV read file reading code. So this is what the function is doing. We are now reading the CSV file. Writing we have already done. Now we will be reading. So for this, with open user CSV R as new file. Now when this file, we are opening this file as read mode. So we will now try to read it. New file reader CSV dot. Here we will write reader. Small case reader. Okay. READER. Now for row in this new file reader, this new file reader is a handle, and then we will print row and column. Okay. First will be username and second will be password. Now new file dot, this will be the next question. Fill in the blank in line 4 to close the file. So it's simple. This time also we closed it. Whenever we open it, we have to close it. Now here also we opened it. Now we have to close it. So close is a function, and this with a round bracket. So we'll just write close. Right? Now you see these two functions are written. Write the output he will obtain while executing line 5. First see here, writing we have done. Now reading function also we have done. Now this add function which we just wrote first, it is called thrice. Add CSV, add CSV, add CSV. That is 3 username, password are being inputted by the user. Now finally we have got read CSV file. This read CSV file will take out all the content, that is the 3 content which we have written from the file. This is username, password, username, password, username, password, 3. So what will be the output? This only, username, password, with a space. Okay, with a space. There is no comma here. Please remember, Arjun, and there is a space, and same thing. Don't change the case. Whatever case is given in the question, you have to take the same case, and same case has to be written. Okay, because CSV file, don't assume that CSV file will always give you in comma. No, these 3 with your space will come. Next is part B. This is section 1. So let us take a question of this. Evaluate the following expressions. So this evaluation, you need to know the precedence, operator precedence in Python or whatever language for this it has been given. But here we will check for Python. So the answer is 13 and false. You will just know how this will be done. First of all, 6 into 3, that is 6 multiplied by 3. And then you have to add 4, and this is star, that is, this is the exponential raised to the power. 4 stars are 2. And this is integer division, 5 minus 8. So the into multiplication division, they have equal precedence, but it will start from left to right. But exponential always goes from right to left. So first 4 square will be done, that is 4 4s are 16. 6 into 3, step by step you have to do. Now, these two precedence into and division are same. Exponential precedence is always right to left. That is, if you have two exponential in this same expression, you have to do the right one first and then left one. For example, you have this 2 into 2 raised to power 3 plus 4 raised to power say 2. So first you have to do 4 raised to 2 and then you will go to 2 raised to 3. Okay. But here everything will be left to right because we have already done the exponential. So 6 into 3 is 18 and now 16 integer division 5 minus 6. And one by one step you have to show the examiner. Okay. 18 plus 16 by 5 is what? 5 3s are 15 because it is an integer division. It will come some 5 point something, but you have to just write 16 by 5 as 3 because the only integer will be without 3 and minus 6. No, it's minus, not minus 6, it's minus 8. I'll just change it. So 18 plus 3 is 21, 21 minus 8 is 13. Okay, 18 plus 3, 21, 21 I said, yes. Okay, 13 will come. Step by step you have to do, step by step. Now let us come to the second one. So 10 greater than 5, 7 greater than 12, not 18 greater than 3. So first we will do what? We will do not. Not is a unary operator. Others are binary operator. And or, these are binary operator. So let us do the not is done first. Then and or are of equal precedence. So we'll go from left to right for this and or. So 18 is greater than 3. So tell me 18 is greater than 3 or not? 18 is greater than 3. So it will be true. So 10 is greater than 5? It is yes or no? 10 is greater than 5? Yes. 10 is greater than 5, so it will give you true. It will give you true. And 7 is greater than 12? No. False. Or now 18 is greater than 3? Yes. True. But it has a preceding not. So true not will make it as false. Not means it will invert the true to false, false to true. So now true will become false. Now see from left to right. True and false. Now when we have an AND operator, it will always be false. For example, I'll just show you with 0, 1, 0, 1, right? Because 0 is false and 1 is true. So let me write it as 0, 1, 0, 1 and 0, 0, 1, 1. 0 is for false, 1 is for true. So and 0.0 is 0, 0.1 is 0, 1.0 is 0, 1.1 is 1. So always if both are true, then only AND will give you true. Otherwise it will be false. Or. Now coming to this or. Or is an add operation. So it will give you 1 always until both are zeros. So see 0, 0 means false, false. So if you see here, it's false or false. So it's going to give you false. It's going to give you false. Differentiate between viruses and worms in context of networking and data communication threats. So viruses means what? Virus means a program. It's a computer program. All are computer program actually. So viruses are program and they have no standalone value. That is, they are not stored in standalone. Virus will always come with something, some program. It will piggyback itself to something. So it's a basic program, whatever program is there or software or code is there, the virus will be a part of it. It will be a part of it. So you will find the effect that your program, your system starts taking time, etc. So virus require an active host program. It will not come standalone or an already infected and active operating system in order for virus to run. That is, wherever the loopholes are there. For example, you made an operating system or a compiler, but there is a the coding is not good and you left certain points where the virus can enter. Means the programmer can see, okay, this is the point where he has not done good, he can enter. Cause damage and infect other executable files or document. Now what are worms? Worms, unlike these viruses, these worms are standalone. They are themselves a program. They are not coming with some program. So they are individual by themselves. And they can replicate. Normally they replicate through what? They replicate through network. So if your system are connected in network, it will replicate itself. So worms are standalone malicious program because their work is to harm your computer, to harm your system, or harm the network, and they can self-replicate. Virus, they don't self-replicate. Virus just affect, and it affect one time, that is done. If you take virus to some other system, it will affect again. Differentiate between web server and web browser. Write any two popular web browsers. So the difference I'm going to tell you first. What do you do first? You will open your computer, a browser, that is Google Chrome. Say you are opening a Google Chrome. Now you are typing something on the address bar, some www.xyz.com. Now this website will come. You say google.com, Google will come. So have you ever thought how this content is coming? It's not there. It is coming from the web server. The content you see on the web page, that web page, is coming from web server. And the program which is actually getting the data from the web server is web browser. So Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Safari, there are multiple web browser, popular web browser. They only work as an application that will read the World Wide Web pages, and they will show you. Okay. So whenever you deal with this, say you are doing banking or some e-commerce activity or something. So you are taking the ICICI Bank or any bank, say whatever, that website is placed on the web server. And that is how it may be a very big machine, very powerful machine, because it may be handling multiple clients. For example, Apache, Tomcat, these are the example of web server. So this is how you have a powerful system, because multiple clients are actually working. These multiple web browser are working or expecting things from web server. So a web browser is a software program for accessing information on the World Wide Web. When a user requests a web page from a particular website, the web browser retrieves the necessary content from a web server and then displays the page on the user's device. It can be a smartphone as well. Web server is a computer that runs website. It's a system that runs website. The basic objective of the web server is to store. Say if you write any website, the server is storing, processing and delivering this web page to the user, actually to the web browser. So this intercommunication is done using HTTP. Web browser is just a program. It is not everything. The content has to be somewhere so that you can retrieve it. Okay. So the basic work is the combination. That is what you see is a combination of web server and web browser. So it's storing, processing and delivering also. And as I said, the protocol being used is HTTPS, where basically HTTPS, not HTTP, because secure socket layer is also there. Explain the following terms. Now the full form is in front of you. You just have to write the full form, but expand it. But I'll give you an idea about this. SMTP is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So whenever you type a mail, you send it. It will be sent to the mail server. Who sends it? Who does that? SMTP does that. The retrieving of the mail to whomsoever you have sent. Who does it? Which protocol? POP. Post Office Protocol. XML is an extensible markup language. Basically, it's for data interchange on the internet. So the HTML tags are fixed, predefined. Extensible markup language has tags which are defined by you. It also has a definition language. It also has various things. You can define your own tags. So basically, data interchange, a default it is on the internet now. LAN is local area network. For example, if you have a building and you are sitting here, your colleagues are sitting here. So these systems are connected using a local area network. That is a LAN we are talking about, local area network. And the distance is just to a building, not more than that. IPR is intellectual property right. IPR. Now the word intellectual is important here. Intellectual means what? It is coming from your mind. So what your mind is producing, what your ideas are there, you may be a painter, you may be a singer, you may be a banker, or you may be anyone who has some artisanal, or you have something you have created by yourself. So now you go to the authorities and you say, this is what I have made and give me the IPR. And they can give you, depending upon what you have done, they can give you copyright, they can give you the patent. If you have done something very scientific, extravaganza, you can get a patent. And if you have some song or music, they can give you a copyright. So this is intellectual property rights. This is class 12 computer science sample question paper released by CBSE. And we are taking these solutions, trying to understand part B. Next is differentiate between actual parameters and formal parameters with a suitable example for each. Now here is an example, and what it is showing, let me just go through it. The first is, this is the function. Now this is called a function prototype. This is just showing that what this function is going to do. That is, wherever inside area you pass side, it will return side into side. That is, if you give 5, it will give you 5 into 5, 25 will return. It's okay. This side is a word, it can be a variable, it can be a expression, but it is not being called. When it is being called, you have made something, you have kept somewhere. Now when are you calling actually? Then in this side you are giving some value, some actual value. So when you are passing actual value, that is called, at this time this will be the actual parameter. This is the actual parameter, and the value which you have defined in your function is the formal value, formal parameter. Okay, if I made area, when I declare or define it, so it can have multiple values, multiple parameters. Okay, whenever we are defining, we are not actually executing it. So we have to put that what kind of data type it is coming, what kind of value it is coming. First value will be what, second value will be what. So you are just defining it because later it will be used. So when you are defining, this is the formal way, formal parameter. But when we are actually executing it, the program is actually executing, it will expect a proper value. For example, print, you have area, so you have to have a value here. So x can be say 5, x can be 10, it can be any value. This 5 will go to x, so it can be a variable as well. So actual parameter can be a value, can be a variable, can be an expression. Formal parameter is just an identifier. It is not a value or a variable or an expression. Let me tell you again. Formal means when you define or declare, and actual means when you actually run it. Explain the use of global keyword used in function with the help of a suitable example. So I'll take the example first, and then I'll try to explain it. First is beginning of the program. We have a function called def, and we have some global C. I'll come to this global part. Now this is global C, and C equals C plus 2. Now we print C. Now we call this add, and now C equals to 15, and then we called a print. Global means what? Let me take you to the actual example. Global means total globe, this world. Say the water and air. Air will be everywhere. If you are in Kenya, if you are in Tanzania, if you are in Canada, air will be everywhere. Global value will be everywhere. It will be seen, it can be accessed everywhere. Okay? But means if you print C anywhere, it will be 10 only. 10 will be printed. Please remember, global will be always on the top. Now you have called specifically global C, that is you want to use this global C. Then you said C equals C plus 2, because now you have called global C, C equals C plus 2. So 10, C is 10. 10 you have used, 10 plus 2 is 12. So now C, 12 will be printed because you want to use this global C. But now when you call this function, it will be C equals 15. After this add function, you have called C equals 15. You don't want to use this global value variable. Now you want your local variable. So C equals 15 is being given. When you print this C, it will be what? You will just ask, air is everywhere, so why it is not global C? It has to come 12, not 15. But we have a very local variable, and local variable will always have a higher precedence than the global variable. Because if you have specified C equals 15, global will not come here. This C equals 15 will be the actual value. But if you don't specify C equals 15, if you want to print C anywhere, it will be always 10. So global value can be used everywhere in Python. Global keyword allows the programmer to modify the variable outside the current scope. It is used to create a global variable and make changes to the variable in a local context. And a variable declared inside a function is by default local, and a variable declared outside the function is global by default. So the keyword global is written inside the function to use its global value. That is, we wrote global C, and outside the function, global keyword has no effect. So global means everywhere, but when you use inside or you specify a value, that will become a local. And local will always have a higher precedence than the global one. Global is there, but it's not with the, it will never come ahead of the local one. Rewrite the following code in Python after removing all syntactical error or syntax error. Underline each correction done in the code. Okay, so first is value equals 30. No problem. This is not C++. You don't have to check about semicolon. For val in a range 0 to value. Now, when we use a for value, you have to end with a colon. That is 2 dots vertically. This is a colon. So first correction is this. Second is if val modulo 4 is equal to 0. Now this is okay, but you see if in this if I is capital. Python is a case sensitive language. I should be small. So this is the second problem. You can correct it. Print val into 4. This has no problem. Else if. Okay. Again it seems right. But we don't have else if. We have a short. We have elif. We don't have anything else after. El from take here, if from here. So elif is the correct one. This is also correct. Print val plus 3. Now else colon, if colon. What about last else? Why you are not giving colon? You have to give a colon here also. Else. So this is the fourth correction you have to do. First, second, third, fourth. And we corrected it as well. What possible outputs are expected to be displayed on screen at the time of execution of the program from the following code? Also specify the maximum values that can be assigned to each of the variables, lower and upper. So here we have imported random and there is an array. The answer is 2. How we come to this conclusion, I'll just tell you. We will use the method of rejection for selection. That is, we'll see all those values which won't come anywhere, anytime. So we'll just go to that value which may come because this is a random. Okay. Let us come here. First thing is, there is an array. Basically it's a list. So 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, these are the values. And since we are talking about random.randint, this 1, 3 is not a value, these are indexes. So this lower will go from 1 to 3. Means 1, 2, 3 value will come. Upper value, lower maximum value will be 3. 1, 2, 2 and 3. So it will only, like a pendulum move between 1 and 3. Similarly, upper 2, 3, 4. Lowest is 3, highest is 4. Okay. So 2, 3, 4, these are not values, these are indexes. Now k in range, lower plus upper plus 1, lower and upper plus 1, and you know, whenever we use this range, upper plus 1 is the highest limit, so upper plus 1 will never come. It will always be upper only. In range, don't worry, you don't have to make 2, 3, 5 as 4, 3, 4, 5. Don't worry about that. Okay? Now coming to end, that is, you have to use the index here. So let us see here. We have to give index, then only we will start up. So first is 20, 30 and 40, 50, 60, 70 and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the indexes. Now, lower till upper range. So lower can have any value between for 1, 2, 3. Upper can have any value from 2, 3, 4. So basically 1 till 4. If you see the index, 1, 2, 3 from the upper, from the lower, and 2, 3, 4 from the lower. So only value from 30 to 60 will come. First goes out because first value we see is 10. It will never come. So we have cancelled it. Now 30, 40, 50, 60. See 30, 40, 50, 60. In the second run. The second run 40, 40, 60, 50. 40, 40, 50, 60. So again this all can come. Every time you have a value, then the other value will be hash. Okay. So now, again, lower upper, don't worry. Just have to see 1 till 4. Don't worry about lower and upper. 30, 40, 50, 60 can it come or not? So 70 can never come because 70 is at 5. Wherever you see 70, cancel it. I'm just saying 10 will never come because it is not there. 30 will come, 40 will come, 50 will come. What about 70? If you see third and fourth, the last value 60 can come. 50 can come. But what about 70? In range 1 to 4, because the upper and lower only varies from 1 to 3 and 2 to 4. That is, in all the set is 1 to 4. 70 will never come. Fifth value, the fifth index value for 70 will never come. So 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3, 4, that is from 30 to 60. So in all this solution, from here to here you have to see 30, 40, 50, 60. If you see 30, 40, 50, 60 values, it's okay. First value 70, 10, no. Third value 70, no. Fourth value 70, no. 30, 40, 50 lies in between, yes. Second is the answer. Maximum and minimum is 3 and 4, of course. What do you understand by candidate keys in a table? Give a suitable example of candidate keys from a table containing some meaningful data. Now, this is a table. I'll add one more column to this table. What are the keys? First of all, keys. It seems to be a different word, but it is not. The keys are what? They are columns only. You say keys. Why this key S has come, I'll just tell you. If it is key, if you say column, if you say attribute, key, column, candidate key, again column, primary key, again column, alternate key, only column. So whenever we talk about all of these, it's only column, but they have some certain differentiating purpose. So primary key is what? A primary key is the combination of that column or a single column. So when we say combination of columns, so it may be number of columns. That is why it is keys. Keys, S is there. So primary key is that particular column or combination of column that will uniquely identify a record. For example, if you have I number, you have item number, you have quantity. Okay, these are the three columns which we have. So I'll just add one more column because item and quantity I don't want to take it. We can see that it will not be able to uniquely identify a record. That is, you see quantity has 700 and 700, so it is common. We cannot have, if I write quantity as a primary key, 700 will fetch me 2 records. I just need 1 record. So item number can be a primary key because it is unique. Code can be a primary key, it is unique. And if I combine code with item, it is also primary key, it can be a primary key. Item number and code can also be a primary key. That is, the item number, code, item number and code, and I number and item. This can also be because this is a unique combination. These all are possible. So when we say these all can be a primary key, this set is called a candidate key. I hope you got the idea that the set from which we take out a primary key is called a candidate key. Candidate key means these are the suitable candidates in which you can choose one of them to make your database record available uniquely at a time. Quantity can never, that is, you don't have quantity in this list. Why? Quantity can never be a primary key. If you ask for 500, there are 2 records. But for S1, S3, if you got S1, S3 is not repeated anywhere. So if I take item number, if I say primary key, all other left in the candidate key list are all the alternate keys. Okay. Differentiate between fetch one and fetch all methods with suitable examples for each. So the question itself is saying fetch one and fetch all. So fetch all, example you have to do by yourself. Okay. Fetch all means all the rows of a query result. Means ALL, all means you will get, I'll just take a very small example, name, say age. So you have 2 records here, just to make it simpler, A, B, and age is 20, 15. So when you talk or call fetch all, A and B both will come because there are 2 rows, both will come. If there would have been 20 lakh rows, it will also come. So an empty list is returned if there is no record to fetch the cursor. What is fetch one? It will give you 1 row or a single record at a time. Either it will give you A or B depending upon the scenario you have posed the query. It will return none if no more records or rows are available. This is fetch one and this is fetch all. Write the full forms of DDL and DML. Write any 2 commands of DML in SQL. DDL is data definition language. DML is data manipulation language. So what does it mean? First of all, whenever you make a house, what do? You will make a bunyad, that is the foundation. You will have a proper way where 2 pillars we have to put. Then you will make the walls. You will define the architecture. So you are making a house. If I take it as a database, when you make a database, you will use data definition language. Data definition language is for making a database, is for creating a database, is for the architecture of the database. Okay. You will tell what is the item type in the database, what is the item and what is the data type here, what is the primary key. This is how you make a database. You create a database. But DML comes in the later part. Once this house is being created, is being made, Graha Pravesh ho gaya hai, then if your door is not working or you have to change the door, what you will do? You will not change your whole house. You want to change the door or you have to make a window. Then in the database terms, you will use DML. Data manipulation language. For example, you have a record. You want to put a new record. New person has come into your class. You will add what? You will add a row. Now somebody has left the class or left your office. You have to delete it. So that will be the DML language. So insert, delete, update. These any two out of these you can use. Update means your mobile number has changed. You will update it. This is using update. These are just manipulating the database, not the basic structure. Find and write the output of the following Python code. Okay, now very important question, because the answers you see here provided by the CBSE, I have not ittafaq with it. That means we will see what will come. So we have a function display. There is a string which is empty. We'll start with the start of the string to the end of the string, that is 0 to a length str. If the string is coming as upper, that is uppercase, you will convert it into lowercase and add to the empty string. Then if the content is coming as lower, you will make it as upper and add it to the string. Then if I modulo 2, that is the index, we'll just talk about index. If the index is modulo 2, that is it is an even. If it is even, then you will see m plus str I minus 1. That is, you are taking the particular index and you will use the previous index value here. And also otherwise, if it is odd, you just put a hash. Okay, when I run it, then you understand. Let me just write it first. F U. This is very important. If you write it very well and if you just index it very well, just give some time, because this is an examination. If you do a very small mistake, your answer will not come correct. So I'm writing it very carefully. And now I'm giving index. That is also very carefully you have to do. 0, 1, 2, 3. Just give some time. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Just compute it also. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's okay. From 0 to we have started. So 0 we have started, so it has to be 13. So 0, every index you know what is coming. 0, 1. I'll just make an arrow to be very specific about what index, what character is linking to. So this is the main part of your question. Other thing you can always do. Indexing is very important in this type of question. Okay, first is capital. When you start with the capital upper, it will change it to the lower. Initially it will be an empty string, but now F has come, so it's lower. So F will be smaller. Make it small. Now coming to U. U is smaller, so it will be upper. If it is lower, it will become upper. So make it U capital. N is lower, so you have to make it capital. N capital. So I'm making it as capital. Now at the rate. Now at the rate is neither. It's not a character. It's not an alphabet. So you have to go to else. I modulo 2. What is the index? Is 3. 3 modulo 2. 3 modulo 2 is equal to 0. No, because it is not an even number. It's an odd number. It's an odd number. So 3 is an odd number, so you cannot go inside I modulo 2. You have to go to else. I hope you got the idea. It's not a character. It's not an alphabet. So you have to go to the last else. In this, I modulo 2 is not equal to 0. 3 modulo 2 is not equal to 0 because it is an odd number. So you will not go to m equal to m plus str I minus 1. So you have to go to the hash part. Okay, that is not given in your solution. But what I suggest is that the actual solution will give you a hash. Okay, so I'll put a hash here because 3 modulo 2 is it's an odd number. Now coming to P is capital, so you make it small. Y small, so make it capital. T is make it capital. H make it a capital. O make it capital. N make it capital. Now 3 again. What about 3? 3 is 10. 10 modulo 2. Yes, it is an even number. 10 is an even number. So you will come here in this line, and you will take the previous character of 3. What is the previous character of 3? Small n. So you will put a small n here. Okay. Now coming to dot. Dot is what? Again, first 2 will not work. Is upper, is lower will not work. It is dot. So what is I modulo 2? This is 11th index. The index is 11. Dot is a special character. 11. 11 modulo 2, it's an odd number. So it will go to hash. So you will put a hash here. Now 0. 0. 0 is again not is upper, no upper. 12 modulo 2, yes, it's even. Okay. So if it's even, you have to take the previous one, which is a dot, and put it here. So this is your answer. This answer is not correct. As my understanding goes, this is the actual answer. Even if you run this program, this will come. This is section number 2 of class 12, computer science, computer application. This is sample question paper of 2021 of class 12. Write a function L shift, and inside we have the array and a value n. So 2 parameters in Python, which accepts a list of this ARR of number. So this will be a list, and n is a numeric value by which all elements of the list are to be shifted to the left. For example, if you have ARR, this is L shift. This is a function, and if you give 2, which is actually the question, if you give 3, it should be shifted by 3. Sample input data of the list is 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 12, 11, and n equals 2. So when you shift it twice to the left, the final list should be something like this. 30 should come in the place of 10. So that is 2 shifting. 40 will come to 20. 12 will come to 30. 11 will come to 40. So what will happen to 10 and 20? 10 will be shifted first to 11 and then to 12. 20 will be shifted first to 10 and then to 11. Okay, 20 will come here and then it will come here. This is the shifting. The final version is this one. Okay. First is, this is the function, and whatever is the name, you have to use exactly the same name. So what is the length of this list? First we need to understand. It's clear from here, but we are writing a function and we'll work on each and every list. For that, we need a length. So this is the length. L equals length of this list. So we know the length now. Now in range from 0 to n, that is how many times shifting has to be done. So 0 to 2, that is 0, 1. So twice it will be shifting. Okay, because we don't reach up to n. N is 2, so 0 first and 1. We don't go up to 2. Now this is very important line, y equals ARR 0. So what will happen is, y will be saving the first element of this list. Let me write the list. This is the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first of all, the 0, the ARR 0 is what 10. So we will save it or secure it, this 10 to y, because when we will be shifting, 20 will take the place of 10. So what will happen to 10? That is why we have to save it first. And then we'll apply the loop. The loop is that now actual shifting is beginning. 20 will come here, 30 will come 20, 40 will come to 30, and 12 will come to 40, and 11 will come to 12. So one shifting will be done. We have saved already 10, so we don't have any problem if 10 is replaced by 20. So this is how the shifting is going on, right? And 10 we have already saved. So what will happen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 shifting we have done. So we have to start with 0 till L minus 1. L minus 1. Not L, L minus 1. So 20 has come to 10. If we take the index, that is A0, A1. A1 has been shifted to A0 position. That is 20 has been shifted to 10 position. And 30 is shifted to 20 position. So A2 is now at A1. Okay. So this I plus 1 you are transferring to I or replacing to I. ARR I plus 1 is AI. So when we increase this 1, it will go to 0 and this loop will take 2 to 1. So that is how till L minus 1 all the values 5 shifting will be done. 11 will come here. So 11, actually you have shifted 11 to 12, but you have already saved 10. So this 10 will go to the position of 11. Okay. First shifting. Now it will start with 20 because 20 has come here. 30, 40, 12, 11, and finally 10 we have shifted to the last position, which is 11. Okay. This is 10. And this will happen again because this n is 2. We have to shift it twice. One shifting we have already done, but because the question is asking double shifting, 2 shifting to the left. So one more shifting will be done. So 0, 1 we have done. Once it will be incremented, 1 will go. That is twice the shifting will be done. Twice. Okay. So next time what will happen? 30 will come here. So before that you have to save 20. We will save 20. 20 save, and finally you will 20, you will put it in the position of 10. So finally this list will come. Write a function in Python that counts the number of me and my words present in the text file story.txt. So if you see, this story.txt is the file name, right? Now my first book was Me and My Family. It gave me chance to be known to the world. To the world. Now count of me and my. Let us count how many me and my are there. Please understand case sensitivity. So if the solution is like this, the answer will not be 4, it will be 3. The answer which is given or provided by CBSE is 4, but the solution they have provided will not give you 4, it will give you 3, because capital MY, this is capital M and E. Okay, this will be counted 2, and then the third one, which is My Family, here third count. So 3 counting, but the counting is 4. Why it is wrong, why it is not correct, let me tell you. Because there is one more me in this whole content. One ME is there, but this is small ma, and the code being provided is for capital ME, capital M and E, right? So what we do, they have not provided the function name, so you can use it by yourself. Display me my. This is a function. A relevant name you have to choose. Then you have to have num equal to 0. That is, this is a count variable. Whenever we need to count, we need to have a variable that initiates to 0. Previous question we have taken the m, which was an empty string. Like this, num equals 0 is initialization. Now we are opening the story.txt. So we are opening this file, okay, RT form. Then now you have read this in n, but this n, whenever we are reading, we need to split it. We have read it all, but we need to split it like this list. My is different, then the second one will be first, third one will be book, fourth will be was, then me, then and. Each and every word is to be taken up and splitted. This line is very important when we are dealing with words. So now we have different words in M. Now we will iterate or go through this list, each and every element of M through this X. So wherever capital E, ME and capital MY will come, it will count. How it is counting? It is just incrementing the number NUM, which we have taken as 0. So how many times we get a hit, that is me or my, we will add 1 to this num. So first time it will 1, then 2, and then 3. So it will stop here, and then finally you will print count of me and my in 5. But what I am trying to suggest here is how to get this 4. How to get this 4? You just have to add one more thing here, or x equals small me. We dealt with capital ME. This is small me. X equals small me. So this is how you have to change the program so that you get 4. Otherwise it will be 3. The count will be 3. I hope this split is very important here because we are dealing with words. The next question which is coming up is dealing with characters. So there will be no split. Here we need each and every character, we need split. We don't need split. So here we have another function, write a function am count. Now it is reading each and every character from some file, say text file. Am count is a function and we are reading each and every character from here. Not word, it's character. Here we were reading word and then that's why we use split. Now here we have no problem like that. we can read each and every character. It is space or whatever character from the story.txt. So we have a content which will be replaced in story.txt. So wherever A and M is coming, wherever this A, M, small or capital, it doesn't matter. Wherever A is coming, count it. Wherever M is coming, count it. The content of story.txt will be changed. It will not be as previous one. So wherever A is coming, we count. Wherever M is coming, we count. And when we count, we just display it. This is the whole program content or program logic. So this is EM count. This is a printing mistake, so you can correct it. Okay. So we have a function called count underscore A underscore M. You can name it in any way you want. So we are opening this file, read mode. We don't have to write anything. Now, when we are counting, as I said, we have to have a variable to initiate it to 0. So A comma M equals 0, 0. And R equals F dot read, which we have already done in the previous question. Reading is very important. Now all the content has been read. So F dot read, we are not doing split. Again, let me go back. We are not splitting it. Split was done to make list of all the different words. But here we have this R. So we will sequentially go through each and every character of this R. X0 is not required. You can just write X. Of course, this is a loop. X will take each and every character. You don't have to have this X0. Just start with the first character till the last character. Okay. How many times A is coming? If A is coming or capital A or small a coming, just increment A, which was the variable being taken, capital A. Whenever X0, you don't have to write. Only X will work. One more important thing is that this X equals A. So this is very important. Let me reiterate again. Capital A, small a, which we just saw in the question, just last question. We have seen capital ME and small me. The answer changes. So we have to change for capital A or small a. So the question is saying whenever this A is coming, do this. It is not saying you to capital or small. So you have to check for both. M also, capital M, small m. So you have to check for both. So whenever A is coming, we increment A. Whenever M is coming, we increment M. Okay, and then we close it. Then we close it. And then we print A and we print M. This is the final solution. So I'm not going to this 4 and 2. This is because any content can come in your exam. So next is write the outputs of the SQL queries 1 and 3 based on the relations teacher and posting given below. So this is a table. This is a table. There are 2 tables. Now the second table, it will only come in the third question. First and 2, let us see. So first is select department and count star from teacher group by department. What does it mean? Let me show you the solution. Now there is a small problem in this solution. I'll just tell you what is the problem. From teacher, that is you have to use the table as teacher. So this table we are going to employ. Select department and count. So whenever the table is going to come, one column will be department, other column will be count. This is department and this is count. I'm writing only the initials. The department and count. And there will be 2 columns. Because whenever we select, whichever we select, that those will be the columns. Now group by is by department. You have to take department and you have to count each department. Count star is, so computer science is how many? Computer science. That is how you have to do. So first let us write the department. Computer science, you have history, short I'm writing, and mathematics. Now how many computer science? Because count star. How many computer science are there? 1 and 2. So 2 computer sciences are there. So 2. How many history? 1, 2 and 3. 3 histories are there. Then your mathematics. 1, 2, 3. 3 mathematics it is there. 1, 2, 3. So this is the result should come. The answer which is given here, why it is not correct? Because it is grouped by department. Because department has alphabets, or you can say characters, or you can say strings, words. So these words have to arranged in the alphabetical order. That is first alphabet in if you see computer science, history and mathematics. C will come first. So you have to take C first, computer science. Then E, F, G, H, H will come. Then H, I, J, K, L, M, M will come later. First computer science, then history, then math. This is not very correct because it has to come in an alphabetical manner because the group by is on the basis of department only. Next one, select max Select max and minimum. So now it will give the value. It will not give you the column because max is an aggregate function. Minimum is an aggregate function. So it will not give you a column as I just suggested earlier. So you have to go to this column and find out the maximum of it. Since 2018 is the maximum, the date 31/7/2018. So the maximum would be 31/7/2018. And when you print it may come depending upon different SQL 2018/7/31 also. Date of join. Again, find out the minimum in this particular column only. It's an aggregate function, so it will take the minimum one. And highest is 2018, minimum is just 2007. So 5/9/27 2007 is the minimum of this. Okay. So fortunately in this question we have only one highest and one lowest year. But if it would have been 2018 for 2-3 records, what will happen? You have to see then the month. If month are also same, you have to see the date, right? Then you will see which is the maximum and minimum. The minimum will be, as per this question, it will be 5/9/2007. Coming to the third one, select teacher.name, so name will come. Teacher.department, so department will be the second column. And posting.place, whatever comes after select will be the column name. From teacher and posting, so both table we have to use, and that there will be a proper join of these two tables. Where teacher.department, so teacher department and posting.department have to be equal, and posting.place is Delhi. So posting in this table, posting, which is the posting place for Delhi? Posting is Delhi, so it is computer science relating to it. This Delhi is computer science. Delhi take us back to computer science, and computer science take us back to the names. So only computer science names you have to write. So Jugal is the first one. Delhi computer science, Jugal. Computer science we are relating it with the Jugal, and then again Delhi computer science. Now whichever is the other name for computer science we have, because there are two entries of computer science. So we have CS and Shivom. So name will be Shivom department, and Delhi, this department and place will remain same. Delhi computer science will never change because it is coming for posting. We have to relate it with the first table, and that relation will only take us to the name of these people who are in computer science and who are posted in Delhi. So only two people are there, Jugal and Shivo. This table you just write it or make it in the column and row form. This is also very important to show it the way it should look. Write a function in Python, push ARR, where ARR is a list of numbers. From this list, push all numbers divisible by 5 into a stack implemented by using a list. Display the stack if it has at least one element, otherwise display appropriate error message. So before going to this one, we have OR. There is one more question which is OR. Write a function in Python pop, where ARR is a stack implemented by a list of numbers. The function returns the value deleted from the stack. Okay. So let me tell you about push and pop. What does it mean? How do we go about it? So push and pop, this is a container. So whenever you are pushing, this is 2, you are pushing, then 3, then 4. Okay, what if there is nothing in the container? We say empty stack. When we pop, first 4 will be pop, 3 will be pop, and then 2 will be pop. So whichever come last will be the first one to be taken out. So when you have taken 4, 3 and 2, but once 2 is being popped and you try to pop something again, there is nothing because already 4, 3, 2 has come. So there is nothing coming. So that problem is called underflow. And the question is saying display this tag if it has at least one element, otherwise display appropriate error message. So at least if 2 is there, then you don't show the message. Then you show, if it is not there, not even a single number, you say empty stack. So first clear question, it is given that push ARR. So you just have to take whatever they have written in the question. So don't use this value. There is nothing called value in the whole program. So there is a lot of mistakes and errors in we need to correct it in the sample question paper and solution. So this The question has already provided that this is the name of the function. These are the parameters. So we have to use exactly like this. Array is a list of numbers. So you have 2, 3, 5, 7, 1 like this. Push all the numbers divisible by 5 into a stack implementation. So let me make just any few numbers which are divisible by 5 by list. So now we have an empty list. This is an empty list where we are going to add the numbers which are divisible by 5 from the ARR. So we will take a range, means for loop for x in range. What is the range? 0 to till length of ARR. This is the list. There will be length. So if the ARR 0 modulo 5 equals 0, that is ARR 0 will be having what? 0 means 2. So the first index will have value 2, but it is not divisible by 5. So it will not append it to the S list. S. First is, if it is divisible by 5, then only we will add it to S or append it to S. If it is not divisible by 5, we won't do it anything. We will go to the next one, 3. Now when we come to 1 also, it is the problem, 3 doesn't divide. But we come to 2, 5 divided by 2, 5. 5 modulo 5 is 0. So now we will take this 5 and then append it to S. So we have ARR 2, which is 5, and then we will add it to this. S was empty first, so 5 will be added here. Then this is again going. If we go to 7, no match. 7 is not divisible by 5. Then we'll go to 10. Oh, 10 is divisible by 5. So we get 10 modulo 5 equals 0. So this condition meets, if condition meets. So what we'll do? We'll take this 10. 10 modulo 5 is 5 to the 10. So it divides it perfectly. So we will take this ARR 5, which is 10, and we'll append it into the s.append, that is list will append. So now 10 will get added. So now we have a list which is having 5, 10. We'll print it later on. But if the length is, because we have to go till length. If a length of s is 0, because we are not having any number. If 5 and 10 is not there in this list, for example, if I write the list as 2, 3, 1, 8, there is no number which is divisible by 5, so that S list will be empty. So we have to check for this list S first. Otherwise, we will print S, which will be printed. We know what will be printed, 5 and 10, because in this question we have taken 5 and 10 divisible by 5. Otherwise, empty stack will be printed. Now we are coming to pop. Same thing we are doing. Patient pop. So we have a function pop ARR, and where this is a stack implemented by a list of numbers. This stack. So pop is given and pop stack is given here. So there is again a printing mistake. So whatever is given in the question, just use that. Don't use yours one. So ARR is a stack implemented by a list of number. The function returns the value deleted from the stack. So we have a stack, and say it has some number 257. So we are now popping out the number. So when we take out the number, if you see, if there is no number inside, what are you going to get? If you want to pop, which is an empty list, from this condition is called underflow. For example, the size of this stack is 3. You pushed 5, 6 and 8, and you wanted to push 9 more. It will not be pushed because the size of this container is only 3. So in push, this condition is called as overflow. There are two conditions: underflow that will happen in pop, overflow will happen in push. So first we have to check the length of st equals 0. If it is 0, then we'll say underflow, because if there is nothing, how can you pop? You have to check it first. Otherwise, you have to check the length. Then you will take the value, the SL, that is the last one, that is 752. You have to take 7, not 2. Please remember, 7 will be popped first. So you will not go to 2. That is why you are using L-1, not 0, 1 like this. You have to start from the last. So 7 will come first, that is L-1. It will be printed, and then you have to do what? st.pop L-1. Okay, this will be popped, because now this st, which was the actual array being passed or ARR being passed, now you have to pop this element. So now you are actually removing this 7. Now only 5 and 2 is remaining. 5 and 2 will remain. And you will do this again and again till 5 and 2 will also be taken out. And once 2 is taken out, the length of ST will be 0. So finally underflow condition will come, and before that we have already popped out whatever element is contained inside. So this is the solution. Okay, this section. So now this is MyPace. MyPace University is setting up its academic blocks at Naya Raipur and is planning to set up a network. So this is a university, and the university has 3 academic blocks. So they are planning to have a network and 1 human resource center as shown in the figure below. So these are different blocks, or you can say different buildings here. Center to center distances are given here like this. So the center to center distance is given in meters in this question. So for example, the distance between because distance is going to come, will play a very vital role. Okay, the business block and law block distance is 40 meter. Law block and HR is 105 meter. So distances is given, and number of computers is also given. That HR center, highest number 115 are there. 115 are there. So law block, they have the least number of computers. So one by one we'll take. Suggest the most suitable place, that is the block center, to install the server of this university with a suitable reason. So server has to be placed where? Server is a powerful system computer which is going to administrate all the other computer system, the network devices on a network. So since we have the HR center having highest number of computers, 115 HR in HR center. So the distance also, if you take the distance, if it goes higher up, there will be higher attenuation of the signals. So first is most suitable place is HR center. Why? The reason is maximum number of computers we have, maximum number of computers. The second is suggest an ideal layout for connecting these block centers for a wired connectivity. So end to end, just connect HR with every other building or the blocks. So there are different type of technology, star, ring, there are different type of topology. Okay, third is which device will you suggest to be placed installed in each of these block centers to efficiently connect all the computers within these blocks or centers. So the answer is switch. So whenever we are making a server, so you are actually connecting for network. So the answer is switch. It cannot be hub. Hub is also a solution, but hub is non-intelligent. That is, hub will just broadcast the incoming message to every other node. But switch will only send the packets or the information to the destination computer or the system or the node or the gadget. So that is why switch is an intelligent hub. So we are going to use switch. Next is suggest the placement of repeater in the network with justification. So repeater is what? The word itself say it repeats. That is, it repeats what? It repeats the signal. It amplifies the signal. So whenever we just talked about attenuation, so whenever the signal is you're sending for a long distance, and if you don't have a boost up, it will be, because of various losses, it will be attenuation there. So you need to put a repeater at regular interval so that the signal remain the way it was being sent, with the same energy, with the same amplitude, with the same frequency. Okay. So two buildings which are more than 70 meter, below 70 meter it's okay. But if it is above 70 meter, we need to install a repeater in between. So if you see the distances here, because there is a list of distances being given, one of the distance is 80, one of the distance is 105. So 80, this is 80, and this you have to, in between these, a law block and technology block you have to put 1, and law block and HR block you have to put 1, because the distance is more than 70 meter. So distance is because the data can go through multiple hops. The university is planning to connect its admission office in Delhi. Now this is Naya Raipur, which I presume is Chhattisgarh, because in Raipur, near Raipur, there is a Naya Raipur. So Chhattisgarh to New Delhi, it's quite far, around 1250 kilometers is being given. So which is more than, the distance is more than 1250 kilometers from the university. Which type of network out of LAN, WAN and MAN will be formed? Justify your answer. So we are talking about the local area network, which is only up till a building. Metropolitan area network between the distance which is higher than that, and wide area network. So between near city it's MAN, but we are talking about a huge distance, that is 1250. That is why we are talking about WAN, not metropolitan or local. We are talking about wide area network. Wide area network. So we have to connect it through WAN. Okay. Write SQL commands for the following queries 1 to 5 based on the relations. So if you see, this is teacher, this is posting. Okay. So we have seen these tables earlier. Now to show all the information about the teacher of history department. So let me tell you, the construct is select from where. Select from where. So to show all means all, that is star. You have to use star. About the teacher. From where means from where the table is teacher. And of history department. History department. So the department is what? The condition is this. Select is selecting the column. From is from which table, and the condition is that what is the condition fulfilling it. So we are talking about department, which is history. So select from where. This is the clause which you need to understand. So to show all, that means you have to put star. First question I'm talking about. About the teacher. So you have to get it from the table teacher. And then department, history department. So what is the department? History. So department equals history. Department equals history. The second is to list the names of the female teacher who are in mathematics department. So there are two things. To list the names of females. So you need to have a name. So select is name. So you select name. Then of female teachers. So you have to use which table? Teacher table. Because female teachers. And the condition will change. Who are in mathematics and mathematics department. So first thing is female. So gender has to be female. And second thing is department has to be mathematics. So there are two columns proper. Department and gender. So here where, in this where will give condition where department equals mathematics, and we'll use and because both has to be true. Gender equals false. So gender has to be false. I'm writing it in short. Gender actually is what, this is the final answer. Okay. I'm just showing you because I don't have enough space. That is why I'm just writing the initials. You have to write like this. Department equals mathematics and gender equals female. So let me write it again. Select from where. Let us go to the next one now. To list the names of all teachers with their date of joining in ascending order. So we have to find out the names. So select names of the teachers. So you have to take it from teachers table. And with their date of joining in ascending order. So you have to list. Now wherever there is ascending or descending, you have to use what? Order by. So the names of the teacher will come. And that name will come depending upon the first will be the lowest date of joining, then higher, higher. So 2007 will come first, and ascendingly it will go up to 2018. That is, the first will be Rakesh, last will be Shalakha, and in between. So to list, we have to, we don't use where here. Only we will use select, which is the name. From teacher will be there, but order by date of join. Coming to display the teacher's name, salary, age from for male teachers only. So name first we have to find out teacher name. So select name, then salary, as I am writing for salary. You don't have to write this as, you have to write salary. And then age, A I am taking. From where? From teacher table and male teachers only. So very simple. Gender equals male. Previously we did gender equal to female. So here we will do gender equals male. Gender equal male. Okay. Next is to display name bonus for each teacher, where bonus is 10% of the salary. So the bonus for each teacher, where bonus is 10% of the salary. So first is to display what? Name and bonus. So bonus will be equal to 10% of the salary. So we will use the expression here. First is name. Second will be what? Bonus is what? Salary into salary 10%. So what is the 10% of the salary? Salary into 10 by 100. Salary into 10 by 100. Salary into 10 by 100. So this will be salary and 0.1. So salary into 0.1. And so salary equals, this is salary, this salary into 0.1 you have to write, but you don't have to write this because you cannot have you will not find it good if a table has the column heading as salary into 0.1. It will not be good. So what we'll do? We'll write name, select name. And then in place of salary, like salary into 0.1 as bonus will write. That is, whenever the column is going to come, we want the column, first column name should be name, second column name should be bonus. And because bonus cannot be found without salary into 0.1, so we are writing salary into 0.1 as bonus. So when the table will come, here name will come and here bonus will come, not salary into 0.1. Okay, this as we have used just to show that salary into 0.1 we will be under bonus column. So this condition, this thing here, so there is no where. Select name salary into 1 as bonus from teacher. Only from teacher you have to do. No where clause will be used here. Right? Nowhere. Okay. Now coming to the 40th. A binary file book.dat has structure. So there is a structure 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 things are given here. Write a user-defined function create file to input data for a record and add to book.dat. So what we will do? Book.dat. This file. In this we have to add the record through create file. And then we have to write one more function count rec count record. That will take the author name and then will return the number of books by a given author which is being entered in that book.dat file. So first thing first is we have to write a function in which a file book.dat, binary file is what? Which is not in a readable form. Everything is written in 0101 form. If you write book.text, you can open it in text because ASCII it is written. So whenever you open it in Notepad or say Word, the text file will be shown. Binary file will not be shown like this because it has binary content, not the ASCII content. Okay, proper binary. Whenever we have network data being sent, they go in these bytes and bits form only. So book.dat. So we are writing it now. First, book name, say 1 is the book number. Book name is say A, author is say AA. Just naming it, just to let you know what will be the idea. Price is say 100. So this is the first record we have entered. So second record will be 2, say B, say BB. BB is the author name and price is say 200. Now there will be plenty. I don't know how many, plenty you can enter. So what is the second part saying? That is why I am writing 3. So author is A, author remains the same, but the book name changes. For example, Chetan Bhagat's book. It can be say 1 or 2. He can have multiple books here. So you see AA is coming 2 times. So that is why we have to count that if our author name is there or author book is there, how many books he has. This is the count record will be doing. This function will do exactly that. Okay. So in this case 2 will come because AA, these are the author name. The book can be different, the serial number can be different, the prices can be different. I hope you got the idea. Now let us directly come to our this import pickle, because we are dealing with binary, so we have to have import pickle. Now we have this open. We are creating a file, create file function book.dat. So this is append binary form we are adding. Append because whenever we open it, the previous record should not be finished, should not be eliminated. That is why we have AB. So book.dat is a file in AB form we are opening. Now next is 4 things you have to enter. First is this int input book number. Then we have name, author, price. So since we have first and last column as numbers, so we have int in front of it. Otherwise only input for book name and author. So 4 input we have done. So this is what you are going to enter with keyboard or whichever way you have. Now this record is REC because it is a record. So this we are making a record. Now we have to dump this record to a Python object. So we have to do this. These are the 4 content we have written. So pickle.dump, because this is a binary file. So this dump will create a binary version, and then in the REC, this REC will be converted and a Python object will be and then we will close it. Python object or this file will be closed. Okay. So create file is done. We have created file now. Now coming to count. So what we'll do now, author is the input of or the parameter of this. So we'll again open this book.dat with read binary because we don't have to write anything here. We read binary because we are counting the number of times that the author has come. So num equals 0. So we start with 0. Then try except, if any error is there in try, then we go to exception. So we try because everything will be okay as you see here. While true, so we have to go from one record to the last record. And pickle.load f object. So REC will have, now we are taking the records now. So from FOBJ, we are taking these records. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we have to see the third record, which will be second, means REC2 will be the third record. If you count 1, 2, 3, it will be third, but because it's a list, so it will be REC2. So if author equals REC2, that is AA will come, the number will increase. So if two Chetan Bhagat's books are there, one time it will be n num equal to 1 and second time it will be n num equal to 2. Because on the second record, it will not get anything because it is not A, the author is not A. So this is how, and after this we will close the FAOBJ and then we'll return the number, which is 2 in this case, because 2 AA, 2 Chetan Bhagats are there. So 2 will return. So this is how you are going to make two functions out of it. A binary file student.dat has structures admission number, name, percentage. So student.dat, again we have to use or make a data file. Write a function count REC in Python that would read contents of the file student.dat and display the details of those students whose percentage is above 75. Also display number of students scoring above 75%. Above 75%. So first of all, we have to count record because it is given the structure which is there. Which counting you have to say 75 and above, and detail of the students whose percentage is above 75. Same thing we are going to do. We'll import pickle, we'll have a function count record, we'll have a file which we are going to read because it is already given that this file is already having a content. The file is having a content, so we read binary, student.dat and read binary. So we just have to read here. We assume that the content is already there. So read binary we are going to do. And then num equals 0. First thing, import pickle, then we have a function, then we open student.dat with read binary. Okay. So whatever is written, the count record, the cases also you have to be very sure, otherwise marks will be deducted. So what will be the count? Num equals 0. We have started a count which is num equals 0 because we have to count above 75% and try catch, if some problem is there in try, we go to catch. So we have to read everything here. So what we'll do pickle.load obj. First we know the structure. So we have first as admission number, then name, then percentage. Okay. So this is REC0 will be admission number, REC1 will be name, and REC2 will be the percentage. So what we'll do, this REC we have, because it will be pickle.load will return the record in REC. Now this REC2, because we are doing while true, so we are going for every record. So if some has say 30%, 90%, and some has say 76%. So 30 it will fail, 90 it will pass, and 76 it will pass. Means this code will pass. If REC is greater than 75, so 90 and 76 it will come. So it will print first, second, third. That is all the content will print. And then first say X is the name, or rather A is the name. Number is say some 12, and the percentage is 90. So this will come, and there will be a tab. Okay, separated by tab. Next thing will come in a different, because they will be separated by tab. So now the count will also increase. So this will go again and again till all the people whose record or whose the percentage is above 35 will be counted. So in this case, the example I showed you B30 76. So this will go again and again, and only in this case, which the example I showed you, 2 will come, because 90 and 76 are those which are having higher than 75. Okay. So then finally you have to put this num equals num plus 1, that is num you have to print. And you have to close, before that you have to close that file also, file handle which you have opened earlier. So this is about the sample question paper of class 12. We have solved it. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.